Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a quick update. It's been a while since I've done much in AGK. I went away to play with Unreal for a while, but to be honest, I didn't hugely like it. But I've decided to add AI and path mapping to my game engine. So what we've got is a simple demo. So it says here, we've got a little like AI character standing there on the blue marker, and I've asked it to navigate its way to the yellow marker that you can see down in the bottom corner there. And I've thrown some obstacles in the way. Now there's two levels of technology going on here. One of the difficulties in my game is that the player can actually place objects wherever they see fit. So I've thrown a few walls and fountains and stuff down here, as you can see. So there's two tiers. So one is that this entire area that's in this pale green here, this bright green, is where the player can essentially build a little town or a little village. So it's split up into chunks, which are 100 by 100 just now, which represents this path mapping grid. Now I've played around with this, and it's very easy just to double on that size up, so I can make it 200 by 200 to make each of these represent 4 grids, which is obviously much more accurate. But when I've got debugging on, which is creating these visual representations, it's ridiculously slow, so I've switched to just a standard 100 by 100 for now. So the first thing it does is it scans through the entire map and identifies where actually we've got something that can't be passed. So you can see here that wherever something overlaps a square by a given threshold, so at the moment I've said it must be at least 5% within the square, it marks it as red. So in this one here, it's got a collision shape attached to it which overlaps this one a little bit. Because the threshold's so high, that's gone red. So I can change that threshold so that would become green, because realistically speaking we don't want an AI player coming along saying, oh, I can't walk there, and then walking around that. It would look a bit daft. The next stage is to then obviously get it to plot its destination. Now this is just a standard A-star routine that I built for a space game I was doing a while ago, and it works in purely grid-like fashion, so it does it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come along here, press F1 to start my little AI character, and off it goes. So you can see it's now happily navigating its way around the 3D world. Now this looks very unnatural, it's very robotic. I could do some smoothing when it changes its directions, etc, etc, but it still looks very grid-like in its pattern, particularly when it gets to this bit here. Now I can see, although those walls overlap the ground a little bit, I can see straight through it. So going it solely on the level of the grid is actually really inefficient. It creates a very unnatural path that, to be perfectly honest, no real person would ever follow. So I've created a couple of smoothing algorithms, and I want to see if anybody's got a better one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try a forward smooth here. I'll just rerun this code again. Now I'll stress to you it's the exact same code, exact same source, exact same destination, but this time what it's going to do is it's going to work it through, once it's planned its path, it's going to work through it forwards, point to point, and say, well actually there are all these points needed. And what I've found in almost all circumstances is most of them actually aren't. So you can see here, tell me the course is 39 steps, and 33 of them have been removed during smoothing. So if I come back to the same one, now we've got a completely different picture on the exact same map. So we can see here, the player's going to start in this little blue square, excuse me. Then it's going to go to that white one there. Now this dot wasn't needed, this marker in the middle wasn't needed, because it's a straight through, so it's got rid of it. Then it's come to this marker and it said, okay, so the next marker I can see, oh, is that one. So actually all those in between markers aren't needed, because the player can walk in a straight shot right to this marker. Then similarly, it's done the same again, and I can see that one. So again, I'm just going to go and I'm going to start my little AI character. Off it goes. So you can see now I obviously haven't put any smoothing into the transitions and angles and stuff. The player doesn't have an animation or anything, the NPC doesn't have an animation for walking. That'll all be addressed. Now you can see how close this new smoothed algorithm allows it to get to that fountain without actually colliding with the fountain. And again, off it goes following that course. So that's a much better course, but it's still not absolutely fantastic. And obviously this one at the end is going to go quite far out. It's going way past that wall. That doesn't make much sense. Now it's going to turn around, it's going to walk all the way to the end. So we've got that one there, that's forward smoothing. So now I'm just going to turn on the second version of this, which is now backward smoothing. Rerun it again. Now this is going to do something a little bit different. So what this is now going to do is it's essentially going to take the first point in the path and the end point in the path, and it's going to use raycasting to say, well, can I see the end point from the start point? And if it can, it's going to slowly work its way back along the course that it's plotted until it sees the point it can reach. Now this has a fundamental difference Again, it's 39 steps, it's taken away 33 steps, so it's taken away the same number of steps. But as you're about to see, there's some fundamental changes. So the start looks exactly the same because there's very little smoothing that can be done here. So it comes to this step here, then it sees the same one here, so it's going to come wandering along down here. But now this is where it gets different, because no longer is it out navigating past those walls. Because now, from here, it can now see through these walls, and it knows that although the map's marked as blocked, it can actually get through. And it'll walk to here before going to the end. So again, I'm just going to press F1 and set my little NPC off on its happy little journey. Here it comes again. I don't want to get too close to it because it's actually set as a mission marker, and if I go too close it's going to give me a mission progression. So you can see there it's just happily walked past that wall, that fountain, sorry. It's going to come to that bit, and this time it's going to walk straight to the wall. Now what I could do here is potentially look to do some additional smoothing around these walks, because that's still actually coming out quite far. In realistic speaking terms in real world, I would walk at this angle to the one down it. So it's still not absolutely perfect, but I think it's a lot better. So that's a very simple A-star algorithm that allows it to dynamically map its way around a changing 3D world and smooth off those algorithms. Does anybody know of any other ways to do this?